Good morning, beautiful people. I'm not in the root room right now. I'm at my desk as I wait for some of you all to show up. It's the middle of the day, so some of you might be working or doing life. But I just figured, oh, I haven't done a Facebook Live in a minute. Folks are always asking me where I am. So here's a little catch up. Um, we just lots of orders, festival season, um, kids, job. I do have a day job. Um, but I've been getting a couple of questions that I wanted to answer for you guys here in this format so that I can like send videos to people when they ask me questions because y'all worry me all day long in my inbox. And sometimes I just turn it off and sometimes I don't get back to you right away because I'm working. This Labor Day, I think we did about 20 orders and we still have about 30 some more to go, and that's a blessing and that's great. Keeping that in mind, you all know that as a conjurer, I don't really believe in like competing with people. Often, like Daisy has a wonderful group called Witches Brew, and other people have other groups where they have their own business, but they're supporting the community by having a place for witches to get together. And I'm always grateful. I just pulled up a memory the other day where in a black conjure group they asked about black owned conjure shops, and several of my clients gave me really really wonderful reviews, and I love that. But I also feel some kind of way. Daisy's always so nice. She like kind of, because we work together on a lot of stuff. Daisy is an elder in the first African temple of ancestor veneration, and she'll be working with me on other projects as well. I love her to death. She's like one of the best little sisters I got. But I also do feel a little uncomfortable when people are like mentioning me in other people's groups. But it just depends on who's cool with it. What I won't do and what I never have done is like if I'm on a fellow root workers page and somebody has something that I can supply to them and they're asking me directly for it, I'm not going to post a link to my website on that person's comment. I think it's rude. And that's why my group, my customer group, is just solely focused on how to do magic with my products. There are 50 million 11 magical groups out here that will help you for better or worse with your hear babies in the background. I love the sound of children's voices when they're having a good time, not when they're screaming. Um, I will. My group is specifically for my products because I feel like number one, there's a lot of magical groups on Facebook. Hello, Ty. Hi, Christy. And a lot of them don't give good information because you got every Tom, Dick, and Harry in there with all of their magical prescriptions. And I've divested from y'all. If you all are gonna play house up there, don't get any water. These kids. My daughter babysits for a little boy who's 3 and his 6-year-old brother. She just went to go get him from school, and it's very interesting having all these kids around. But keeps you young. But I don't. I see a lot of the groups, even like, and Daisy has a huge group. Like there'll be some stuff. Luckily, there's enough workers in there with sense that'll put the brakes on somebody who is going in the wrong direction or maybe saying some stuff that is just simply not cool. Everybody has opinions, but that doesn't mean that they have to be shared everywhere. But if somebody answers a question as a person in that group, I answer it. And like vice versa. But other groups, I don't really feel comfortable going into saying much of anything to anybody. So a lot of these groups, I mean, I'm lurking, but I'm actually not going into these groups at all, and I've been deleting them. So please don't add me to any magical groups without my permission first. Um, because there is a delicate balance of people perceiving you as competition, and I don't believe in competition because I believe that there are the right clients for the right people out here everywhere. And what I've done as a worker is try to work with as many people as I could because I can't make every single product. There are some products I have no desire to make. There are artistic endeavors that I want to do that I don't have time for. So it would be nice to buy certain things from other people. So you're going to still see, and I have people send me stuff all the time. And I'm a kind person. I'm not a nice person. Nice people say what they want you to hear, what you want them, they say what you want to hear. A kind person will find a way to give you constructive criticism, but not just, be buttering up your ears. And so I receive products from people a lot, and sometimes they're not so great. And I'll be like, oh, it smelled nice, or oh, this was nice. Or if they ask me for a suggestion, I'll give them a suggestion, but I'm not the end all get all of hoodoo either. And I'm not going to act like these people. Hello, Xavier. I'm not going to act like these people out here who believe that they got the end products, that they're the only person you can go to, that there are legitimate workers out here that disagree with me philosophically about voodoo, about the role of non-people of color in some of our traditions, about what goes in a formulation. That's what makes witchcraft so wonderful. You can formulate it according to how you're working with your spirit. So, you can't say whether somebody's product is better than another. The client has to see what product works for them. Also, a lot of workers do some things, and I'll talk to you guys about some of the things that I don't do. I don't fuck with innocent people. I'm not a Wiccan, so I don't believe in the threefold law. I believe in hexing, but I don't go after innocent people. So I've seen on other workers' websites abortion or miscarriage spells and things like that. I don't do breakup spells. I don't do those types of things. Secondly, I don't care if it's baneful or blessing work. I'm not going to do that work without a divination, because I see myself as a medium. I see myself as a medium when I'm doing readings. I see myself as a medium when I'm doing spell work, because spirit is working through me. I am a god because I am part of the goddess. I am part of the god. I am part of the creator. We all are. But at the same time, this stuff doesn't come from me. It comes from our spirits. It comes from our ancestors. It comes from our Loa. It comes from nature. All things that are really bigger than I ever possibly could ever want to be, much less dream to be, because it's also a tremendous amount of responsibility. So I don't claim. Now, if I see something that's hot ass garbage, like that Sephora kit, then yeah, I'm gonna say you could do better than this, sis. And the reason why I say sis is because 98% of my customers are female and they're black. So I also don't kowtow to non-black issues, emotions, tears. I don't have to honor those. And that's my choice too. And so love me or like me, delete me or have me, that's exactly what you gonna get, you know. So I wanted to really make that abundantly clear with people. I like to respect people's spaces. Okay. I don't go after people's customers. Hey, 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 I'm in a meeting. Tell them to be quiet. Tell them to be quiet. They only understand I'm in a meeting because when I'm at work, I'm on conference calls. Oh, these children. I love them though. They're so funny. I love kids. I just don't like them all. I tell my children often, I love you unconditionally, but today I don't like you at all. Then somebody was asking me about ancestor veneration. I think I'm missing some of y'all's comments. I am. This thing ain't scrolling. Oh, this camera is thebomb.com, Ariana. It is the C22 Logitech 1080 P. But it makes me look real bright when I have lights on. But I bought it specifically for the purpose of teaching and doing these Facebook Lives because I love the quality. So thank you. So let me just scroll down and make sure I didn't miss any of y'all's questions. Nope, I didn't. Okay, great. All right, so back to that. Now, people have come to me very often asking me, y'all ask me questions like I'm God. Really, I'll just be like, for real, you want me to answer that for you? Some things I cannot answer. Hold on a second. Y'all, Sanaya, Quiet. Thank you. Little rockheads. Now back to peace. I'm about to put a door on my office, y'all. The audio seems low today. Well, let me see what I can do to, I don't know if turning it up here works or not. Um, Audio low because I got all these damn kids in my house. But turn it up on your phone, on your computer. I don't like, I talk loud. So when I do videos and conference calls and things like that, do try to bring my voice down a little bit. So I'm not, I'm serious. I will turn on somebody's Facebook Live video and their voice will irritate me so much. It don't matter what they talking about. I will turn that shit off. Okay. So turn up your volume. Um, Oh, I get questions from people. There are two questions that blow me all the time. Okay. First one is, people looking for a magical practice to work in. A lot of times, especially with Wicca, we are introduced to magic by non-black people, which is fine. That's the way I was introduced to magic because I didn't realize that what we was doing as black people was magic. I'm like, for real? That's what we've been doing all this time? Oh wow. Okay. I didn't even know root work was considered magic. And it speaks to the educational system because I got a whole ass master's in English with black literature. And you read Mama Day differently as a muggle than you will read it as a conjure worker. And they have done, okay, I need quiet, 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 quiet. Goodbye. Out of my hallway. Bye. Bye. Go. Bye. Quiet. Leave. Go in the family room. Ooh, I swear for God, Bob and Cheese, all of y'all. So, a lot of times we are introduced to the occult by people who are not black. And the reason why is because of the church. The church has convinced us that the magic that we practice is evil, wrong, rather than powerful, life affirming, and life giving. Okay. So sometimes we start in magic and we get in these spaces where we don't feel necessarily welcome. Wicca is one of those practices that has been heavily influenced by, and it's a religion. There are some Wiccans who practice witchcraft, okay? But Wicca is considered a religion, like voodoo is considered a religion, even though my mambo says no, it's a way of life. And I tend to agree with her. Wicca probably would be too. But a lot of times we go into these non black spaces, and unfortunately, the people who are in those spaces don't know they're being non-black because they are non-black. So whether it is overt or subversive or racism or just a cultural distancing, we often don't feel completely welcome in those spaces. We don't fit in. Often, when we start pursuing voodoo houses that are primarily made up of non people of color, there's something missing. And there's reasons for that. This is all cultural. This has the Loa don't see race, they don't see color. But you got to understand within the praxis of Haitian voodoo, that is the religion of revolution. And, occasionally there are non black people who are called to that, but not in the numbers that you see, and because you're seeing a lot of people do a lot of fuck shit. And so that's why usually very few exceptions, we don't recruit people who are not people of color. You have to understand that the Haitian Revolution was the only successful slave revolt in the history of Negrodom. So, where does a non black person fit in your spiritual practice? And I don't care what color you are, what culture you come from, you need to feel at home. When I started practicing voodoo, it felt like home. It felt like the energies that lived in my home where I grew up, because some of them did. That's what brought me to voodoo. Voodoo chose me. You don't choose voodoo. The spirits came to me, and I was just like, oh, hell no, I got paints in my house. Then when I found out who these spirits were, it changed my perspective because I wasn't going to church. I wasn't really spiritually connecting with anything because I was so dissatisfied. And I was interestingly enough left wide open to see what this world had to offer as far as the occult, and realizing that Black people have a very, very, very big place in that world. That just like movies, just like television, just like books, just like academia, Black people are traditionally left out of the occult. But if you look at the evolutionary chart of religion, which does include several magical practices, because all religion is magic, you will see that animism and African of and religion of African origins is the basis from which pretty much all of this sprung. With trails and trees, see, in African religion is a solid line, which means it never died. If you look at the evolutionary tree of religion, you'll see for some of the other religions dotted lines, which show that it evolved. It may not be in practice today, different changes, whatever. So you have to understand that no, you when you first step into this, you're not gonna see a lot of your ancestors as everything, which is, I don't understand why people don't understand institutional racism, and they don't understand how it seeps into every single corner of our lives, from the places that we have options to buy food in our communities, to the way our properties are managed by the people that we are renting from the way our schools are funded and the way our children are treated, to your magical practice, to what you see in the world when magic is presented. Voodoo is often put in the devil worship category. If you notice, and pay attention to this, because this new Sabrina the Teenage Witch comic is out, and it's definitely dark from what I can see from the illustrations. But let's look at witchcraft in mainstream television. Bewitched, funny, light, um, even The Craft. I think you had one black girl. Um, what are some of the other ones that Sabrina the Teenage Witch on television? Um, Anytime you see witches, and especially where non-people of color are involved, it's acceptable. Except this time of year, you go into even Hobby Lobby, a supposedly Christian store, and see skulls and see things that are directly related to the way we practice magic. And so this time of year, we're all happy and shit. We're all going to all of these stores and we're buying up all of these practical magic. Like I said, white spaces. Now let's stop and take a look at, from the beginning of time, the Divine Horseman was probably the first semi-legitimate documentary about what we believe in. But books about us sacrificing babies and all those old voodoo movies from the 20s, 30s, 40s, and on. Look at what they did with American Horror Story Covenant. People got mad at me because I got mad about their depiction of Papa Legba. But if you look on Google right now, you will see, type in Papa Legba, nothing like what the religion or the folklore tells us he looks like, because you have to understand these are spirits. They really don't look like anything. So we apply human characteristics to spirits. So what he represents is the mysteries and unlocking the doors and unlocking gates. So he's an older black man because it's a black religion, and he has keys in his hand. And he has dogs around him, and if it's St. Lazarus especially, because that's loyalty. Okay? And so you got to look at and he rose from the dead. We won't even go into Raw Jesus Papa Leg, but we won't do that right now because y'all ain't ready. But that's what Voodoo University is for. My mambo is working to get some amazing people so that non-initiates and initiates alike can continue their knowledge in voodoo. Okay. So you look at our depictions of magic, and you will see that not only is there a lack of representation, when there is representation, it is often biased and simply wrong. So people come and they ask me all the time, what should I do as far as my magical practice? And I'm like, well, research them. There are a plethora of them. And then there are a lot of black people that come to me and they say that they want to pursue Wicca, or they want to go back to Wicca, or, if you fit, if you feel at home, you got a place there. It's so funny because people make assumptions based on the way you look. And I'm 76% African, but people always asking me what I'm mixed with. You know, I got European and Jewish and all kind of other stuff, and that other percentage that's to the side. But primarily and mentally and always, I have been black, blackety black, black, black. So for me, something that resonates with those cultural things, with that's the stuff that touches my soul. So you really shouldn't be involved in magical practices that don't touch your soul. You shouldn't be involved in magical practice with people who sap your soul. Often we walk into non-black spaces of magic and people immediately. Now I know some black folks that ain't really magical. It happens, muggles, but it's always a shock, right? At the core of most of us, we have some power. And so every time we go into these circles, they're looking at you to be like, oh, can you tell us about this spirit and that spirit? And can you do a voodoo spell for us? And that person has no experience in anything. And they're sitting there looking at you like, what? And not only is that wrong, it's offensive to assume that someone black in your non-black magical space would ever have that information to begin with, because usually they're newbies and they don't know. When I first started practicing magic, y'all, my best friend Dia is on here, and uh you know, man, look, the brain is an amazing thing. I keep telling people I can't put nothing else in here. But you know, my best friend will tell you, when I first started practicing, I practiced with you know, I mentored with the voodoo store, and as a result I got introduced to a lot of their clientele, which a lot of them are white people, and they have their own magical groups and different things here on Facebook. They were real fucking nasty to me. They were real nasty to my mentors. They told me the only reason why they hired me or brought me on as apprentice because I'm black. They have no idea what my background is. And if that was the case, would I have been able to go once I left my apprenticeship and survive on my own magically? You know, I survive on my own magically because I have ethics. I don't fuck with innocent people, and I don't fuck with people who don't fuck with me. And these people, in especially, but I've seen it in the black community too, the woke community, the spiritual communities, they just, you cannot be practicing magic if you are sitting on your computer all day talking shit about somebody else, what somebody else is doing with their business, whether somebody's scamming clients or not, the quality of their products. You will never ever see me get on here and hold up a competitor's product and be like, this is some shit. Now, if you come to me privately and you ask me my opinion on a product, and if I've used said product or I've been exposed to said products, I will give you my honest opinion as a root worker about its magical capabilities. But in the end, it is still your responsibility to decide whether or not you are going to trust this person with buying magical goods for them, or trust this person to do work for you. There are a lot of workers out here who just want to get that money. You know, I had somebody brag to me about how much money they made this past week. I'm like, well, yeah, I've made like 8 times that this month. So, okay, that don't matter to me. You know, I tell people I love your money, but I don't need your money. So I'm not going to try to hoodwink you into spell work that you don't need. So a lot of people are disappointed when they come to me. They come to me and they're like, I need this work done. I need this work done right now, and blah, 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 blah. And I'll be like, well, have you had a divination? Well, I had one a year ago. I said, was it on this topic? And no, that's an example of emails I get every day. I'm not going to do magic for you without a divination. And 9 times out of 10, the spirits are going to tell you to do it yourself. Because those are the folks that want to do chargebacks. That's why psychics and root workers and witches and spiritual workers cannot, and advisors can't get regular credit card processing, because a lot of these companies are like, too many chargebacks. Because clients don't listen. Often you could be doing work for a client and they can be undoing it. Clients lie. That's why it's a good idea to do a divination first. Excuse me. And then I ask my spirits, will magic help this situation? That's our first question I ask. Usually no. And it's usually because that person doesn't even have an ancestor altar. Who's supposed to help you? Because I'm not going to put my spirits to work for some fuck shit. Okay? So often I tell people, look, that's not the magic you need. Often the magic that you need is the magic in you. So the reading will start telling me what the client needs to know about themselves. and what they need to do to work on themselves so that situation will go away. Because often what's going on with you and somebody else has everything to do with you. I don't care if it's a relationship, I don't care if it's work. Your boss is a piece of shit. You don't like your boss. Okay, use some boss fix until you can get away from that person. Find another fucking job. Your boyfriend cheating on you? Don't do no spell to have his ass come back. Do a cut and clear. Do some heal my heart. Get some therapy and keep it moving. So I'm not going to do no breakup spell for him and his new bitch. It's not going to happen. I'm not going to try to make his new girlfriend have a miscarriage because he cheated on you and knocked her up. It's not going to happen. I think that's unethical and fucked. Okay? So you are going to get a different response from me than you may from a root worker who wants to make that cash. So the first thing I'm going to tell you is connect with your ancestors. If you want to practice magic, you need an ancestor altar. Second, learn a divination method. Stop running out and paying a diviner every single time you need to wipe your ass. And thirdly, CPR, cleanse, protect, reverse. You don't need to do any divination for that. If you just make that a regular practice, things might go a bit better for you. But there are times when shit hits the fan. There are times when you're going to need a magical person to work that shit out for you. Okay? Then you come to us. I am a Mambo Supuin. There are certain things that a Mambo Supuin cannot do. I'm a priestess. A Mambo Sagwe is a high priestess. So and I do get the rough ones, I get some cases that are very legitimate. People being raped by spirits, people with past life curses that need to have hermetic cleansings. Baby. And guess where I go? I go to my spiritual mama. I'll be like, yo, mama, I spent a couple hours on with her on video and Zoom the other day from Haiti, talking to her about these matters, talking to her about the spirits that I need to get closer with and the workings that we're going to learn. But those are things for initiates. I'm not going to walk up in somebody's house trying to get in extradite demons and shit without the proper training and protection. And that's what made like that Sephora kit so deadly. A Ouija board, a spirit board is not bad in and of itself. But if you don't know how to call down the right spirit, you may end up with some shit in your house you cannot get rid of. I know experienced conjurers. One of my friends summoned a demon to keep her kids from running and eating up all the food in the kitchen. But the only problem was you couldn't get the kids in there to wash the dishes because the demon was in there sitting on the counter and they were scared to go in there. You gotta pick your spell work carefully. So those are my 2 words to y'all today. You know, I believe that there is so much available magically for everybody that I'm worried about competition. There are some days I sit here and think about, maybe I should just close the store, get my life back. I mean, that's my ministry. Is what I'm supposed to be doing, so I do it. But that's not to say that every day is a great one when you're dealing with clients who don't understand that everything's handmade. It takes 1 to 2 weeks for us to even ship your order from the time we receive it, depending on what it is. And y'all be extra sometimes. It's a blessing, but as all blessings are, sometimes there's always a little curse sitting there, and those things that are not pleasant about your blessings actually are learning opportunities, learning how to deal with a blessing that has a condition. And most of them do. But people just want blessings. People want lottery numbers. If this was the way magic worked, you could pray up lottery numbers. You wouldn't need me. I wouldn't need to be I don't need to have the business, but I wouldn't have opened the business. Oh, my ass would be sitting somewhere in Jamaica with a spliff and Jock St. Dick if I could pick winning lottery numbers that were sure to win every time. Now, there are numbers that are for you. I can help you find those. And it's up to you to play those consistently. Don't be mad when it hits and you didn't go and buy that ticket that day. You see how this works? I can't, your luck, you can do spells and stuff to increase somebody's luck, but the conditions have to be right for that. And a lot of times for a lot of people, it's not. And there's times in my life where, increasing luck is just not the condition that I need right now. Because a lot of times people get blessings, luck, abundance, and they don't know what the fuck to do with it. Or they've got their eyes on something else that they need to be, and they need to be concentrating on something other than that. Ancestors, so very important. I don't care where you come from, who you are. The people who are the reason why you are here are going to be your most viable spirit connections. Start with them, move on afterwards. People, especially white folks, want to go straight from ancestors to goetic demons. I see it all the time. And I don't know what it is. And I think it's I don't know, I think it's a human thing, that need for power, that need to be known, spectacular. And you will find that the most well-known people are the ones who are most uneasy with it, because a lot of times they realize, oh, people are looking at me, and whether I want to acknowledge it or not, I can be a role model. I have certain responsibilities. And so when I see black people, white people, whatever, especially in spiritual magical circles, acting a motherfucking ass, I don't like it. And if they're downright giving, and I don't usually say nothing. If y'all notice this, I don't be talking about people. I don't give a damn about dark skin, light skin problems and Instagram witches and magical beef. I don't have fucking time for that. None. Okay. If it wasn't for my kids, I'd probably be drowning right now in my business. I mean, most people, I used to have different friends come over, help me package stuff. I can't even trust folks to do that anymore. I have to keep that in house, as it should be, as you should learn from your family. And it doesn't usually work out that way. So I become family for other people and help them learn what I know. And I don't know everything. Magic is so big, you can become incredibly disheartened, overwhelmed, and give up before you start if you think you're going to learn everything about every magical spell, practice, or whatever under the sun. It doesn't fucking work like that. The day you learn everything is the day you die. And I ain't trying to die right now, so I ain't not going to claim I know everything, try to do everything. So ancestors, understanding that if you make a great magical product, I'd love to see it. I make wholesale agreements with people. I pay them up front. They send me their stuff. I sell it on my site if I like it. Um, and that's about it, you know. But really, I just wanted to come and share that with you, and hopes, and I'm gonna send this message to different people that ask me different questions, that you find a way to connect with your ancestors. You find a way to connect with the herbs and the roots, that magical properties that transcend race, gender, sexual orientation, and that you then find a religion or spiritual practice that you can wrap all of that into, because it will benefit your life if you go about it in the right way. If you go about it for money, if you go about it for fame, and that's what I saw. I literally saw this when I first started practicing, and people didn't take me seriously because I think they thought I was on the same tip, And like I said, I didn't know anything about the Black Conjure community then, but I saw the non-Black Conjure community, and what they would do is they would take a class or a series of classes and set up shop with a certification. And, after, weeks, months maybe of study. Now, I read for dozens, maybe over 100 people before I charged for my first reading. So I see it as a get rich quick, and I'm watching, and I see Black practitioners doing it too, and it's very disheartening. Hustle, 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 hustle. That's all it is. That's why you don't see posts from me always advertising products. Okay. Sometimes, I share a lot of different things because I want you to have an understanding of who I am as a worker, who I am as an individual. So it ain't get rich quick. It's hard. It's expensive. Everything I've ever done is expensive. When I became a photographer, Jesus Christ, I spent at least $20,000 on professional gear. And then to watch these people giving away photo shoots for $50 when my sitting fee was $350, I was like, you know what? I'm done. Because anybody with a camera now thinks they're a photographer. When I started doing the miniature stuff, which is what I started doing right before I fell into Conjure and Voodoo, before they came and got me, I realized everybody and their mother is making miniature products. And so because we are a minority of a minority of a minority, and we're in a very small community, we seem to think that everybody's doing this. Everybody is not. And not everybody's doing it well. And I try to do it well. And when I make mistakes, just like the candles, y'all, we suffering with these candles because the man actually sold us candle wax that is not meant for votives. It's only meant for containers. So it's greasy and it's soft, and there's no way I'm gonna send that to y'all. What it does is it makes wonderful wax melts. So I'm gonna try to get those on the site today. So he replaced the wax. Shout out to Columbus Candle Supply for giving us an exchange of a product we could use. And I'm also waiting for another one from my wholesaler because these candles have to be right. If I'm going to sell them to y'all, it's got to be something I would use in my practice. So know that. I don't know how many other people will say that. Okay. I sell him incense, and I don't sell a lot of different brands because it's so hard to keep up, because I love the way it smells and I love the way it works. And I know if you get it, it's really good stuff. And I know it's made in India. It's really cool. But and I make my own incense. So if you see it on my website, I've tested it, I've tried it, I know it's a good product. I'm not going to sell you bullshit. I can't say that about everybody else. I've gone into Conjure shops locally here where they have cascarilla labeled as goofer dust. I've seen things here in stores that don't make any magical sense, and people get duped all the time, probably sometimes for their own good. When I talk to a store owner about it, they're like, they don't need to know that. And that person was right. So, but at the same time, is it honest? That's the problem. We got to be honest. I don't care what I'm doing. I don't care what I'm selling. I don't care who I'm servicing. I don't care how bad the news is. I had to give news to a close friend yesterday about a situation that she has spiritually, and I did not like giving. I didn't even want to do the divination. In fact, I went straight to my mambo, and it hit her right. She was sitting in the chair. She said, "Girl," and told me what was up, and I'm like, but I still have to give the information. Not all of this shit's pleasant. And I think that people want to put up this image of perfection and success with everything we do as human beings. And they got a whole bunch of folks who's sitting here whose lives are maybe not so in the toilet as they think they are, feeling bad about their existence because this other person over here is living life like it's golden. Just because I don't tell you all my personal business don't mean I ain't got none. It just ain't for everybody's ears. Every struggle I have is not for everybody. And as a magical practitioner, stop telling people your business. Stop telling people your business in these groups, because there's going to be some witches in there that you fundamentally disagree with. Y'all going to get into a disagreement. They're going to go and try to take your picture, and they may not be very powerful, but they'll cause some inconveniences in your life. Why? When you talk about your business and your traumas and things, and sometimes you have to. There are some women that I saw a woman who was being harassed by an ex. There are some people who have survived abuse, and I think it's important to speak on those things. But there are certain things you really shouldn't be telling everybody. And that's where coming and having a spiritual advisor or a parent or a trusted godparent comes in that can help you with that, because magic operates on weaknesses and opportunities. So if somebody can spot a weakness in you, there's their opportunity. So, and like Mumbo said, y'all believe that stuff about a curse can't happen unless you believe in it. A curse can't happen if you're innocent. My Mumbo told me yesterday, innocent people die from voodoo every day. Because just like we have good protective spirits, we have spirits that will do what you ask them and what you pay them to do. And the question is, what type of magical mentor are you going to have? What type of spiritual advisor are you going to have? Are you going to have someone who goes off the rails and put your picture up in a group and says, everybody attack that person? Is that the type of person that you really want to trust with your spirituality? Now I sound like them folks from church. You can't just trust everybody with your salvation. And you can't lose your salvation, by the way. You're already God. So you guys have a great day. Right. Yeah, Katie. Yeah, you don't even have a disagreement. Just people just jealous. of how you live in your life. I feel hits every day, but I'm protected. I feel it. It's like, damn, why the hate so deep? People, there are some people that are not gonna be happy because you do well. Know that. Jealousy is a real fucking thing. But you know, when I look at somebody and I kind of envy what they've got going on or wish I could accomplish what they have, I actually try to do it in my way. Not trying to pinch off them, not trying to copy them, but in my way. If I want something similar, because really wanting the stuff that somebody else has is not the fit for you. Find out what drives you, what makes you happy. The reason why I am still in business today, because there's plenty of people, and like I said, especially white folks, when I first started out, oh, they went after me. Even a former close friend went out of her way to tell everybody I was a fraud. I called her ass out on in a blog. A dude that was talking to me, same thing. Come to find out some really disturbing things about him. These people, with no provocation, were willing to tell anybody who would listen that I was a fraud. But I'll let y'all be the judge of that. I don't compliment myself. In fact, there's one ripoff report about me. Go read it. It's quite funny. And read the responses. So you do the right things. You do right by people, and you ain't gonna have no problems. Like my mama always said, don't start no shit, won't be no shit. Because one thing I will promise you is the one reason why I could not become a Wiccan is because I can't get down with harm no one. Sometimes a motherfucker needs to die. And if the spirits tell me I can do that, I will. But most of the time, what people need is blessings, or they need revelations, and they need information. But trust and believe, I do everything I can to protect me and mine. And I got people who are higher than me and spirits who are higher than me that have had my back all my life through way worse shit than some witch being mad at me. Come on now. That is not the reason why you practice magic. Judica Isles says it best. Magic levels the playing field. We practice magic to survive. The only reason why Black people continue to live, strive, and thrive is because of the magic of our ancestors. Whether they're practicing it now or not, that's the only reason why we're here. And that's why it's so important. And that's why you are going to have some problems in some non-Black spaces. So my lunch hour is over. And my lunch is cold, but I don't care. I eat it cold. Got that from my auntie. And I got to get back to work, and I got a meeting. So I want you guys to have a blessed day. We have extended a couple of things. If you're interested in the Goddess Retreat, we're extending the deadline to September 15th. I have extended the deadline for Hoodoo 101 to October 1st for the first payment, and October 15th for the second, because we're going to start sending people their boxes, their container boxes. We will be sending the roots after the first session, where you guys come up with your magical formulations. And the Hoodoo 101, 102, and 103 schedules are on the website. My daughter and I are studying crystal magic so that we can give you some basic crystal classes. And then I'm working on learning more about sacred geometry and working with grids. So we're working on that. And I have a friend that's going to be doing a meditation and mindfulness class for us. If you are an instructor and you teach classes and you'd like to teach them through my website, please let me know. Inbox me or email me at liz@biglizconjure.com. BlackPsychics.com and the Black Psychics Association.com will not be going live until January. We are not interviewing at this time. We have people in mind who we are reaching out to be the initial diviners on the site. Once we get everything going and up and running, then we will let you know if we're looking for additional diviners. And we will be, because I intend to be my legacy. What I want to pass down to my children is to be the largest Black provider of occult products and divination services in the world. And we ship all over the world. That's my goal, and it has nothing to do with anybody else. It has nothing to do with well, there's one person, but anyways, with crushing the competition. There's nothing, it has to do with me doing well. And if everybody worried about themselves, and if you haven't seen the video on YouTube, look it up, mind your own fucking business, you'd find that you'd be much more successful at the things that you do. Have a blessed day. Take care.